What is going on, everybody? We cannot believe it, but we're here and ready to go. There's something terribly wrong with Flock and Scott, just the way they're looking. There we go. Now they look normal. But whether you believe it or not, we're a month past release, and we're already getting some info for Set 2. So I wasn't sure when our next spoiler video was going to be, but our last one was like, mid-February after the CC event. And here we are, the beginning of April, and we got a handful of cards. They said the spoiler season not starting just yet, so if you're worried about each week and each day new cards coming out and feeling like it's too early, it's not starting just yet, but they are giving us a preview for Shadows of the Galaxy, which comes out July 12th, which means the pre-release weekend will be, which they confirmed is happening for all the sets, will be July 4th weekend, so July 5th, 6th, 7th, until release. How we feeling, guys? Set 2. Getting some info. We already knew what the starters were, but how we feeling?
Brian's just weeping as he realizes how many boxes he needs to order. He's just he's just crying into a pile of other cards from the other set.
I just paid off my 30. Now I gotta get 30 more.
When I was talking about budgeting out for all the boxes and stuff like that, I was budgeting out for 3 sets a year. Brian took that entire lump sum and put it into the first.
I need to wipe my eyes with my showcase.
Well, cool. I mean, I'm excited, and also it does feel nice that it's not a hey, spoiler season has started. It's nice that, oh, hey, here are some spoilers, but we're not getting started just yet, so you still can keep enjoying.
Semantics. Spoiler season starts when you start giving spoilers, which they started giving spoilers.
That's fair. I'm curious if they're going to wait till May to get the ball rolling officially, which would be my guess. But so we got 3 weeks to sit on these, and we're figuring out if we can print them and play them and stay in good graces. I know Flock's ready to go.
I don't think that, you don't need to print and play these. You're fine.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just run right into it. Without further ado, we have Moff Gideon, who is a formidable commander. He comes out at 5. He's a 3/6. He's an Imperial and an official, and he is villain command. He has an action, exhaust him, attack with a unit that costs 3 or less. If it's attacking a unit, it gets +1 attack, +0 defense for this attack. He flips, again, comes out at 5. He is a 3/6. He has Overwhelm himself, and it also says each friendly unit that costs 3 or less gets +1, +0, and gains Overwhelm while attacking an enemy unit. How do we feel about Moff Gideon? Keep in mind, he is a starter. Starter card.
Does that mean he's supposed to be worse?
No. I mean, I think Luke and Vader.
You just wanted to say the words.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I think, coming out at 5 and being at 3/6 is pretty beefy. It's not Boba beefy, but it's obviously he'll survive, an attack or two compared to, say, IG-88.
That is the lowest bar.
That is the lowest bar, but it's an important bar to cross.
Yeah.
Does your leader survive for a half second?
I prefer this stat line to Krennic.
I'm not really gonna argue. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue.
This is like my direct comparison. I think of Krennic when I look at Moff Gideon. I lost my train of thought. I like him a lot, though.
My biggest issue is that he is green, and I want to run ECL. So that's going to be a problem that he has to cross. Or if ECL, who knows what happens to that card down the road. He's interesting. He feels like an aggro or like a mid-range that leans aggro and can be a better aggro deck. Because sometimes those Leia and Sabine games get weird. But now I can just run over your Sabine and do Overwhelm into base and, still kind of crank out damage. So and he comes out on 5. He's still an early-ish leader, not 4. Sabine's the only 4, right?
Yes, Sabine's the only 4. So 5 is early.
Yeah.
It's 4 that's the abnormal.
And we've seen 5, except for IG-88, I feel like every 5 leader can really help like swing the game. Like I'm thinking like Chirrut, I'm thinking Leia, thinking Boba, Krennic, and they all fall on different scales. Boba being at the top end, and IG-80 at the bottom. But
Boba's stats they don't make any sense when he given that he comes out in 5.
Yeah.
Everybody else's stats make sense.
You give me Rebel Assault for Imperials, and he gets real good.
And there was some like question of the wording, but it seems like the +1 and the overwhelm are both combined, and you get them while attacking. Right? There's some people who weren't sure that if you get +1, but then you gain overwhelm while attacking, but it is you gain both of them while you're attacking. It's not like a static +1, like Krennic would be. So
yep.
I like him. I like that they get the +1, lets your 3 costs potentially trade up a little bit and still do damage. Any other thoughts? Flock, how you liking him? You're a big...
I still don't get why we have him when we have IG-88. Like, I don't get it. Whatever.
Why print any other 5-cost leaders when we have the best one?
We have why
we have Moff Gideon at home already. Like
we have Moff. I mean, literally that when I read his ability, that's kind of the thing. It's like you just read it and you compare it to IG-88's ability, and they're like, oh, they're pretty similar. IG-88's obviously can just be at any time, but like you have to have more units. It being just attack with a 3 cost or less and have to attack into a unit is a way easier bar to clear.
Yeah.
Super laser text trading into something with 3 health, fantastic.
Yeah, that now can trade into the battlefield marines or like the echo base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only drawback and the only thing that IG probably has going for it over this is that you can hit the base with the raid 1. Right? There's no stipulation on that, but
yeah,
a little bit more. You can do the raid 1 into a unit to trade up, or you can go into base. Where Moff Gideon's strictly a unit.
Into other units, but ultimately, most of the time, I mean, if you're not clearing your opponent's board, you might not be fast enough with these types of decks just because Imperials don't have the low cost curve aggression that the heroes do.
They said that should be swapping. I'm interested to see what
we'll see
aggro looks like. All right, on the next one, Scott, you want to read this one?
Sure. Next one we've got is the Mandalorian, Sworn to the Creed. He is a cunning, heroism. Leadership ability is when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, exhaust an enemy unit with 4 or less remaining hit points. Epic action, it comes out on 6 as a 4/7 and traded Mandalorian bounty hunter. And then he's got the text as a unit. When you play an upgrade, you may exhaust an enemy unit with 6 or less remaining HP. So essentially the leader ability, but up 2 levels. If we didn't know that there was a new type of upgrade coming out, I would say he's pretty bad. Because upgrades are a little suspect at times. But since we know that there's a new type of upgrade coming out that goes on enemy units, and gives you bonuses when you defeat them, well, he looks a lot more attractive as opposed to just being like a Voltron type hero where you're trying to put a bunch of guns and a bunch of equipment on him, even though you still might be trying to do that. Like, kind of like the way Chirrut plays, because Chirrut can't get removed. This guy might still have some of that play with his ability to keep him safe. But I think he's going to play more with the new card type than with just guns and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact the first like bounty upgrade, or I forget what exactly it's called, but we'll talk about that in a second, is 0 cost is also pretty relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, before I ask this question, Flock, Brian, do you guys have any specific thoughts on
him? No, I mean, my first thought was just like looking at 6 cost 4/7. That's literally Boba, but Boba would be a 5. So comes out a turn later than like Boba. But
yeah, it's got the Jin and Luke stat line at 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But overall, we gotta wait to see more upgrades. But like, I don't know how many times this will be getting off, but I'm guessing you're not trying to get it off all the time. But when you get it off, you want it to count, basically. So
I mean,
I definitely see it being very, very good and very swingy. You can turn things around.
him and snapshot reflexes is like a very attractive combo because you're essentially getting like three actions out of it. You're playing an upgrade, you're attacking, and you're exhausting something.
Yep.
So that's probably like a card that is very much stapled to him.
Because you can even do something like Traitorous to take an enemy unit and then exhaust another person and just basically take away 2 of their units. So
yeah, I think upgrades that play on your opponent's units are probably where his wheelhouse might actually be, just because those types of cards are more proactive than upgrades on your own units in a lot of cases.
yeah, it feels bad to put an upgrade on your unit and then just gets waylaid. You're like, all right, well, there we go. We're Path of the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a really good thought.
We're
I'm
all so
impressed.
proud of you.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
Rolling 3-0 tonight.
Oh,
Thought of
thanks,
some
Shane.
really good things to say. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Shane's whispering in your ears as well.
I just wish that, like, every yellow card that I look at, every yellow leader that I look at, I'm like, man, Thrawn sucks. Thrawn's getting better, and like I think people are figuring out where Thrawn fits, but like, it takes so much to exhaust things, and here's the Mando just kind of, doing it better.
Well, you got to play upgrades, and nobody's playing upgrades right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Thrawn's
with
is
the
much more like achievable.
With the bounties, though, I feel like I mean, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think he's like a meta-defining. Maybe he is. I don't see it right now, but I like him. He's good. I like both of these leaders. I'm excited to mess with both of them.
So that leads into my question. We all have to pick before we move on. Who you taking?
Gideon.
I'm Team Mando.
I don't play hero.
Oh, that's not. Who's better? Who's better? Define right now.
Who's better?
Set 2 meta predictions without seeing the full set. We have 8 cards or 9 cards or whatever.
I think that the theme of the set leads more into the stonks of the Mandalorian. But the cards they put out for Gideon look interesting to me. That's a tough choice. I'm gonna go with Mando though. But that's not what you asked me. Who am I taking? I'm taking Gideon. Who's better? Probably Mando.
Yeah, I say Mando with ECL. If you get ECL, boom.
Yeah, Mando's better by default because he can bring ECL and still have.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically.
Scott, who are you taking?
I'll take Gideon. I like all of the Dark Side's 3-cost stuffs.
Yeah, we get a better one too. We'll see in a moment.
Can it run Dune? Can it run ECL?
You could. I mean,
we'll see
it's going to be easier to run. It's going to be easier to run mono aspect with 2 sets than 1.
True.
I'm interested to see what the bases keep evolving into if ECL is so good set 1. Yeah, I mean that's just.
I mean, all the other ones are like kind of on par with each other ish. The blue base being the worst of the bunch, but Jeddah and Tarkin Town, I'd say, are on par with each other. It's just ECL that's the one that's the outlier. So I'd expect them to be probably more like the other 3 than ECL, but maybe we will get one that is also competing for ECL.
Yeah.
So if they make another green base that's busted.
Also, should be noted that the starter, both of them will have blue bases.
Okay, so it's interesting.
Because at first I was like, oh, are these decks the same exact colors as the Luke and Vader one? But the villain is now green-blue instead of
feel about
green.
that.
Yeah, at first I was like, did they just swap the hero and the base colors? Right, like hero was yellow base, blue leader, and they swap, but no. All right, so
no red, no aggression. No aggression, love.
Willsy had no aggression. Screw aggression. We'll jump into the next card, which is also a starter. Flock, you want to take this one away?
Too big of words.
All right, we got calculated lethality.
Oh,
look at that.
Damn it.
4 cost
Shane
blue bad guys. Defeat a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less for each upgrade that was on that unit. Give an experience token to a friendly unit. I've been thinking about this for a little bit. I mean, at first I kind of like it because of the upgrade thing, getting experience. But, like, depends on how important upgrades are going to be. And do I really want to spend 4 to get rid of to defeat a 3 or less unit? if I don't get an experience token. So it feels like it's not an auto include right now until we know that the meta has upgrades, obviously, because there's obviously better removal than for cheaper and doing better.
This gives me big Searcher feelings vibes.
Well, you know, it's tough too because, you know, you think of the swing of like depending what these bounties are that you can play on other units. So like keep in mind, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm trying to get their Yoda with their Jedi lightsaber on it. You can play your 0 and your 1 cost bounties or whatever they are. Play it on them.
Yeah.
Spend 4, defeat this, and now you get, you know, even if it's 1 bounty. You then get the trigger of the bounty, and then, you know, you also defeat their unit, which could be worth it for 4, right? You know, if this is like 3 or 2 and you can combo those things, it might be a little too good. So 4 is the zone of like, yeah, I don't want to pay 4 just to defeat a 3, but I would pay 4 to defeat a 3 with a bounty on it type thing.
That's fair. Yep, that's fair.
Yeah.
I forgot. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so like if you do this to a character with a bounty that has 1 on it, for example, it really only costs 2. So, I mean...
Whoa,
yeah,
spoilers,
I guess
dude. We don't know what that card does yet.
Yeah,
you
just said something that doesn't exist.
Snap, sorry. Oh,
that does not exist in this universe.
My bad. I never heard of that card before. I don't know. It depends. Like Fox said, it depends on how heavy. I mean, I think they're setting this up to be a big upgrade set, you know. But I mean, we'll see.
And I also want you to think about like what is the most common play that any red hero deck makes? Turn 1 and then turn 2.
A-wing.
Into.
Fleet Lieutenant.
Or.
Wing Leader.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, plays like that where if they go Wing Leader into something and then you also put like a bounty on it, you know, there's some high valuable plays there. So.
Oh yeah, it's a unit that costs 3 or less, not like its power. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It may be interesting if you're going to see people run like a 12 event suite of like 3 of Power of the Dark Side, 3 of Takedown, 3 of Calculated Lethality, 3 of Vanquish.
Yeah, it could. I mean, especially villain, like what is the make an opening spot could be open and become the Calculated Lethality. Because the best part of make an opening is that it gets around those shielded units. But now you could pay 4, get an experience token, and defeat that shielded unit. Mm-hmm. Is pretty good. If it's 3 or less, which... the best ones for make an opening are 3 or less, right? It's like the Boba, the 7th Fleet, and the whatever, the Crafty Smuggler.
Yeah.
Which this still kills, so. But yeah. Cool. Any other thoughts before we move on? This is a starter as well. I don't know if I said that.
Nope.
Brian, you got the next one.
Okay. We have the Razor Crest. It is a reliable gunship. It's a 4-cost space unit, Vigilance Heroism. Comes in at a 3/4. Mandalorian vehicle transport, restore 2. When played, you may return an upgrade from your discard pile to your hand. I love this card. I'm big on the blue ships. Love the Ghost, love the Restored Arc, love the Razor Crest so far. I mean, this has a lot going for it as well. And I'm wondering if it gets better because they did spend a little bit of time talking about how the Mandalorians are going to be a bigger factor in this set. So I'm wondering if, you know, there's some kind of play later down the road with like Mandalorian traits that might come in. So definitely interesting. Yeah.
Take those bounties back.
Yep.
Turn 1, play a bounty. Turn 2, you kill that thing. Turn 3, when you're at 4, you play this, you get the bounty back, play it on something else.
Yep.
Just bouncing those bounties.
Bouncing.
Turn it in.
I'm also kind of in the camp where if this just had Restore 2 and nothing else as a 4-cost 3/4, like I think this would be a pretty good space unit anyways.
Yeah, because with 4 health, it doesn't get removed by most things in like a single go, so it's just, you know, it's gonna probably get that restore off of it. Like it can trade into, favorably with, you know, any of the rebel space units. So your A-wings, your Red 3, it can trade favorably into the, you know, what's Flockton's new favorite word? You know, the
Consortium. The Consortium.
Consortium.
Celestial.
Star Viper. We all just named like 5 different things that Flock is called.
It trades really well into the Consortium Star Viper.
Heck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't you just call it the Star Viper from the get-go?
Yeah.
If you didn't know how to say that word.
Survives
True.
the interceptor ping, which I like.
Yep.
Yeah, for one more cost, you don't have to worry about having initiative either when you get the restore 2. So I
Yeah,
get
pay
that.
one
Mhm.
more.
Yep.
Yeah,
I wonder
I
if
like it. I'm a
transport's
fan.
ever going to matter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
ECL this in, good trades for space, survives with the 4.
Yeah,
Personally from your hand.
I'm curious how it like will end up playing because right now it's like if you're doing the bounty stuff, currently like your mind goes to where most of them will be yellow.
Yellow.
So I
yeah.
wonder if this will be like best paired with the yellow deck, but also just like I said, just a good 4-3-4 space unit.
Yeah, it's obviously best in like a Mandalorian deck, but I can see it being in just a vigilance heroism deck that's running ECL. You throw this in there.
Yeah.
Because you get the ECL and the restore.
Hey man, I would put this in my my turret deck. I could be a little bit
Yeah.
more aggressive with putting my lightsaber on my Yoda, and then if you kill my Yoda, I can play this, put it back,
Yep.
play it on turret. You know, dude. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, I am more inclined to play upgrades if I can get multiple uses out of them, because it's really the problem comes in when you when you put a card on top of another card and then you lose 2 cards to 1. If you can then get back one of those cards, you negate that card advantage.
Yep. Yep.
Agreed.
Cool. Any other thoughts on the Razor Crest?
Surprised it's blue.
Yeah, that is a good point. Well, as we get into it, we'll see that yellow is not the only color of Mandalorian.
That's fair, but I'm just surprised it's blue.
Yeah. All right. On to the next one, which is me. We got the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. It is a ground unit, 3 cost, a villain command. For its aspects, it has 3 attack, 3 health. It's Imperial, it's a droid, it's a trooper. It has Sentinel, and it says when combat damage is dealt to this unit, give an experience token to this unit if it survives the damage. And this is also a starter or special rarity, but in the starter kits. Goodbye, cell block guard.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe even keep both in case if aggro is still a thing. If
I mean,
speed's in
yeah,
there, I'd
yeah. Maybe
rather
the
have
cell
both
blocks
of
go to
them.
the sideboard.
Yeah, and add an extra one. Yeah, because I feel like when I was making a lot of decks, like my Vader deck for the 1K, felt like I was like, "Yep, I got cell block guard. That's the only thing I really stop." And if you wanted the what's that other Imperial one for Palpatine? If you wanted them in there, you need to make sure you have enough officials. So you're
Royal
like,
Guard.
Emperor's
But if you don't-
Royal Guard.
yeah. So if you don't have enough in there, it's like, well, you can't really add it to your deck. So you're kind of struggled with just cell block guard. So this gives you another way to slow down the aggro.
That other one for Palpatine.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like him a lot. And also, it's not when he's attacked either, right? So if you can go first into turn 3, right after you played him turn 2, he's ready to go. You can do like Gideon action to get +1, potentially kill something, and then if you survive, you can give an experience token as well. So you can like if you could pick your trades with it, right? Because like 3/3 is pretty easily like counterable, right? Like you know my Marine, my Sabine, like there's a lot of things that can go into and take it out. But ideally, you want to play this and then go first the next turn, so you can try to pick your target and get experience to then put him as a likely like a 4/1. So like almost anything will kill him after that, unless there's some type of like droid repair type thing, like you know unless there's some type of synergy with that where it's like easier to heal him. But
What's the interaction with him and like if he has a shield on him? Does it count as having combat damage dealt? Nah, it wouldn't count as having combat damage dealt to this unit. So there's anti-synergy with that.
Yep.
I mean, I think he's he's a 3/3/3 with Sentinel, so immediately he's cell block guard, but better because he has more text. And then the traits are really good. Imperial, Droid, and Trooper. All 3 of those are ones that you're going to see like a fair bit of. You're going to see synergies with all of them. So that works out really well. I'm surprised that the Phase 3 Dark Troopers are just a 3-cost unit, given they like tank everything in the show. But whatever.
fair.
I mean, someone like Tarkin's going to like this because he can give it experience to then allow it to survive to get more experience.
Yeah, similar to like a Hask thing where it's you're constantly like snowballing the experience tokens potentially if you don't take care of it.
Yeah.
I like him. Well, the curious to just see how the droid comes into play too as well. and that might be something too with set 3 when we get Clone Wars becomes more effective if it isn't set 2 as well. But
yeah, it's too bad that IG-88 doesn't do something with droids.
that is funny.
It's too bad that IG-88 doesn't do anything.
What he
And
needs is that
confirm. Except beat Pete.
except BP. That's the only thing he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if there would ever be like an upgrade, and it'd probably be like 2 strong, but it's like after this unit deals combat damage, if it survives, give it a shield. If it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like that way you could still get like a shield synergy with him on like an upgrade or something, but that might just be too good because that could be good on a lot of things.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it would work okay on this 3-cost unit, and then you find something else, and you're like, never mind, broken.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Any other thoughts on the Phase 3 Dark Trooper? Cool.
Like 'em.
Scott, you're up next.
All right, we have a 2-cost ground unit. Cunning and heroism. Grogu. Irresistible. He is force traded. He has 0 attack and 5 health. He has too many fingers. Action. Exhaust an enemy unit.
Fingergate.
Fingergate, yes. Grogu has too many fingers. Grogu does not have
We did the magic hand thing.
3 digits and a thumb. He has this. And they gave him this. Yeah, there they go. They gave him too many. I have no idea if this is good or not. I mean, like, being able to exhaust an enemy unit is never terrible. It's got 5 health, so it's going to stay on the board for forever. Nobody's going to want to kill it, but yeah, this is a hard one to figure out. It's very like passive.
I think the force trait puts it over the top for me to where not over the top, but it puts it in the category of where I think this will be a good card because
there's enough things that you can just be like, and I'm going to sit this Grogu on the board. You're not going to want to kill it because it's going to take you too much energy to do so. But eventually it's going to allow me to get one of the force events off.
Yeah. It's crazy, too. Like, it immediately... If you put an upgrade on this guy, it immediately is out of takedown range unless you put damage into it, right? That's, like, the issue sometimes with, like... I mean, Yoda gets around it, but, like, the Guardian of the Will... Like, I'm trying to think some of these, like, lower-cost units where it's just like... Man, they get an upgrade and then they get takedown. And that's like...
Look. You can put a lightsaber on Grogu. That's a pretty good unit.
Yeah, the Jedi lightsaber on him. He's now a 3/8 that gives -2/2 on whatever he's attacking.
Yeah, although his text essentially becomes blank at that point. You're just like, never mind.
But that's fine.
I just love that it's a forced unit so low though.
Yeah, then if he dies, then it's late game. Like this is a better 2-drop, like or not a better 2-drop, but it's still like a good 2-drop late game. Whereas like if you think about it, like I was playing Sabine at the 1K, and it was like sometimes in the rounds 4, 5, 6, I drew my Alliance X-Wing or my Rebel Pathfinder. It was like, I was like, I mean, going wide now is like nice, but I wish this was Sabine. I wish this was a Battlefield Marine. But now him, like late game, it's like, dude, I'll drop him at 6 resources. When we go to 7, you deploy Vader, dude, and I'm gonna just tap him. Oh, you got a Devastator coming up? You're at 10 resources, bro. I'll play him after you play that, and then I'll tap you.
He is irresistible.
It's irresistible.
Yeah.
I like him. I can't wait to Voltron him.
I think he's my favorite starter card.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty sought out one. I'm hoping this is gonna be in the OP kit. That's gonna be a rare, so we can get a nice hyperfoil of Grogu.
If it follows this one, it would be a common. It would be hyperspace, just hyperspace.
Dang.
Finger good.
Dang.
Dang. Gosh darn.
I like him a lot, and we'll see future synergy in a card for the Mandalorian coming up as well. But Scott read that one. Any other thoughts before we go on the next one? Cool. Flockton, take it away.
All right, haven't seen this one before. Wanted, an upgrade, 0 cost for Cunning. Attached unit gains bounty, ready to friendly resources. When this unit is defeated or captured, its opponent collects its bounty. So +0/+0 wanted bounty condition. Yeah, so this is the 0 cost bounty we were talking about. Upgrade so that you can drop it on an enemy and then you collect the bounty and ready to resources. So I think it's very good.
Boom.
Boom.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, at 0, I mean, I just look at this with like Mandalorian. I don't know about decks outside the Mandalorian, but Mandalorian, it's essentially like a 0 cost tap a. What's his leader side? Is it 4 or less power?
Well,
Yep.
H-
4 less HP.
HP.
HP. Yeah, so it's like 0 cost. I tap a 4. Like, seems fine.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
yeah.
eventually I can time it where I could play like almost have like a Boba Fett turn. You know.
Yeah,
Kill something
I mean, it's I think it's very interesting that they decided for bounty to go with defeated or captured and not just leaves play, because that obviously limits the way that you can get away around that. So obviously, like, you can't just like waylay a bounty unit back and then get the bounty off of it. So you have to defeat or capture. I know that there was like some talk about this in Boba Fett, essentially allowing you to get Boba Fett out pretty early, given that you can, play your ECL, play on a bounty, trade into the bounty unit, then play a resupply all in like the same turn, and boom, it's turn 5.
you ECL super laser tech to something that has
Yep.
wanted on it, and then you resupply, and then Boba comes out, but then you like don't have a hand, or I don't know. I mean, obviously a leader coming out that early is always going to be good, but also that's 3 cards within the first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Within the first 3 turns.
Yeah.
2 turns.
2 turns. Yeah.
Yeah, as I'm thinking about this, I'm also thinking, especially early on, if someone puts a wanted on my unit, I'm just sacking it basically into the other person's unit.
Yeah, you do have to time when you put this out, because you could put it out in a situation where your opponent can just deny
So they
you.
have no,
the
yeah,
bonus.
don't
if
ready
they have full
anything.
resource. If they're all ready and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna sack it, kill it, they get the bounty, but there's nothing ready. No resources are ready, so that just
Yeah. It definitely. I almost like the Boba Fett thing. I almost look at it as like I could now play 2 5-drops or like 2 5-cost things with wanted. Because Boba, you get 3, right? If you time it right, you do his leader side, you deploy him, you get 2 more, and then if you do wanted, you get 5. So it's like you could like.
fast battalions.
I mean,
One in.
well, no, you probably want like Bosk or Syndicate lackeys for the ambush on the initial one to kill something, and then
Yeah,
you stand
that-
1, you deploy Boba, you stand 2, you could ambush into the wanted thing, right? Then you stand 3, right? Boba hasn't flipped yet. You deploy him, he attacks, he stands 2 more, and then now you have 5 for your ECL steadfast battalion.
Yeah, I think that's far more of a strong Boba wanted play than trying to get him out
Turn 2.
on turn 2.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! If some, I would lose my mind, man. Like week 1, somebody just like puts wanted down whenever, and then eventually they take initiative, they ambush in a syndicate lackeys, kill my guy, stand 3, deploy Boba, stand 2, and then I get ECL to steadfast battalion.
Here's the key to avoiding that. Don't play any units.
Space units, baby.
Space units. Only deploy into space.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see where this goes to. In Destiny, it got like not the best. Like the first few sets, definitely they were pretty tame. But eventually they printed like, who was it? Forlom and Zuckus, who had like synergy with it, where they could like return it to hand if they defeated it. So it was like you could really like snowball turns or something like that, something along those lines. So I'm curious how this set will be, because they're trying to hit on so many different things that like set 3, I don't know how many bounties would go on other things. And also, interesting part too is that Danny said some units can just strictly have bounty on them, right? If you think of it, it could be like an overcosted unit, but the downside is that when they die, your opponent now gets something, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, that's a good way to create like a negative trait for people.
Yep. All right. Any other thoughts on wanted? We'll get to anybody asking about the captured. There'll be a card that explains that a little bit more in a second.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. Who had that flock? So Brian, you get to do the one with the reminder text about captured.
Okay. This is a 3-cost upgrade heroism only. The Mandalorian's rifle, attached to a friendly non-vehicle unit. When played, if attached unit is the Mandalorian, he captures an exhausted enemy non-leader unit. Put the captured card face down under him until he leaves play. It's a +3/+0 item weapon. And it is the special slash starter rarity. So this is what we were talking about with the captured stuff. So it doesn't stay forever. You gotta fight for it back. So it's an interesting mechanic, and I'm wondering like what this does to the game, you know, how big it'll be and how much we'll see of it.
You can continue on, but for listeners, just a clarification that Tyler gave on Twitter is that when the Mandalorian, the leader, is defeated, any cards that he is guarding are rescued. More details when we release the full rules for capture. So, right, the wording is, and this is reminder text, so the full rules will always trump reminder text. But for anybody getting tripped up on, put the captured card face down until he leaves play. If you put it on a leader, some of you might be confused. Well, a leader never leaves play, so is that card stuck under the leader forever, even after it's defeated? No. Units will come back exhausted after they are freed from being captured.
So, I'm wondering how much of this we're going to see. Is it going to be a force to be reckoned with? Is it going to be a gimmick? Is it a cutesy, fun little thing, or is it impactful? So, but on the card's cool. It's a nice little 3 for 3. Obviously you're playing it on the Mandalorian, but you could play it on whoever. It doesn't have a color. Doesn't have a color restriction. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's interesting too, where it's not yellow, right? To go along with the Mandalorian, it is very open and loose. Although it does lose a lot of luster when you don't play it on the Mandalorian. So,
More turret sauce.
I guess sure.
I mean, yes,
That's
technically,
great.
but
Yeah.
and the plus side with this is, since it's both the Mandalorian as a unit and this have the same trigger, you can choose to exhaust with the Mandalorian and then capture the card that you just exhausted, so you can produce yourself the exhausted non-leader and enemy unit.
Yep. Yeah, and the fact that it's also just like anything too, right? I doubt Mandalorian's sticking around to get stuff like the Avenger or the Devastator or whatever to, he's probably dead by that point. But at least the option is there that he can really capture, a lot of things. Right, and I know his text is 6 or health less, but, you can run other exhausting.
Yeah, and things come into play exhausted, so...
And that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to get a unit exhausted. Have your opponent play it for the first time.
Yep.
Well, like Flock said, this could end up having you take 2 things as well. Or not take 2 things, but take 1 thing and then exhaust another if it's already exhausted.
Yeah,
So
you can.
There's a lot of versatility.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I mean, it's cool, and it's cheap-ish.
And it's not attached to the rifle, so like you could overwrite and capture 2 things. Right? You could have multiple things underneath of you, it seems like. And yeah, I have limited experience with this, of like capturing units, but it did happen in Runeterra, and I remember it being pretty decent with synergizing. They had I think it was called barrier in that, or like shielded. So shields in this and stuff like that. So if there's ways to like really shield and beef up, especially your leader units, which are harder to take down in general.
Yeah.
You can definitely have some pretty crazy plays of capturing units.
I see why they didn't give this because normally you might expect with a 3-cost upgrade that you might get some health in addition to the stat. I can see why they didn't, because obviously that would be a little too synergistic into the whole capture mechanic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. If it was like a sentinel, when you drop this, would be really good too. It's like, all right, now you gotta like either go through the sentinel, then get to the Mandalorian, or you gotta use any of your events in hand to get rid of it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. This is what makes me like the Mandalorian a lot too.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Brian read that one, right?
Yep.
All right. So I got Gideon's light cruiser. It is a space unit, 8 cost, just the villainy symbol. It's Dark Trooper Station is its title. It's got 7 attack, 8 health. It's Imperial. It's a vehicle. It's a capital ship. It has Overwhelm, and it has, when played, if you control Moff Gideon as a leader or a unit, play a villain unit that costs 3 or less from your hand or discard pile for free. Mom, we have home 1 at home.
I saw people in the
It's
chat
not
calling
home 1 at
home
home.
2.
It's like Darth Vader at home.
It's home 2.
Well, yeah, they're both because what home one is
Home
3 or
one, you
less,
get
right? Or is that
Well,
two?
no, you can play.
it
the
costs
card
3
for
less.
So it costs 3 less, so you can
Yeah.
play something higher.
Yeah,
than
so this
3
is more like home one than Vader because Vader has to be 3 or less. This costs 3 or less, so you can play a 4 cost for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seems fine. I like that you can do it from hand too. Overwhelm is nice. 7-8 in space can definitely be tough to deal with. I don't think this makes the cut in any non-Moff Gideon deck. Even if his like unit is a staple, you still don't. That synergy is like too much to line up potentially. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're just like, if you want something that's 8 cost and there's other things that are probably better.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's, with Moff Gideon, like at the very least, since you're getting that payoff on it, because it is tough to sometimes play these like big units that don't immediately impact the board at all, other than putting themselves on them. So the fact that you can get something else is beneficial because you can just go grab a Sentinel on the ground and then you're protecting yourself while setting up for like the big play with the 7 cost 7 attack Overwhelm.
Yep.
It's all right.
I mean, it's alright.
I mean, it's all right. Yeah, if you're using Gideon, it's great. Otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah. It's too expensive. It's too
Yeah.
expensive. Even with Gideon, it's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Wait, here's what you can do. You can let's I gotta go look up a card real quick.
I mean, I guess
Sneak
it's
attack.
in like draft or in our pre-release. This could be pretty good.
That is a
Villainy
starter card.
costs- Oh, true. true.
All right.
See,
All right. So wait, how would this work? If you go,
Special card. Sorry,
Special.
special.
you've got you're playing Moff Gideon as leader.
Mhm.
You play this. You trigger its 1 played ability. If you control Moff Gideon, play a dark side unit. You go get Admiral Piet. Does this now have ambush?
No. It was in play after
Nah,
Mhm.
that's
when this was played.
But if Piet's on there before, stonks.
Yeah, I mean, Overwhelm with ambush,
Bounce.
taking out the.
But then you grab the Phase 3 Dark Trooper, with this,
That's-
and then yeah, it's all coming together. But you've also got Vader before, and then so your resource turn 7 is Vader, and then your resource turn 8 is Gideon's light cruiser, and then you just have like the board is flooded,
I mean,
and then you
that
get
is a
super
pretty
laser
good-
blast and then cry.
that is not terrible.
7 into 8. You're getting 4 units.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
that's-
good.
It's an option, but then you get super laser blast and you cry.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about what you're playing into. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this should be the last of the starter cards, I believe. So we have one more after this that Scott will take us home with.
Oh, yeah, I get both of them. We have I got like I got the leader, the child, and now I got the other guy.
Yeah.
So this is a ground unit, 6 cost, vigilance, heroism, the Mandalorian. Wherever I go, he goes. Mandalorian traded with Bounty Hunter as well. It is a 5/6 Sentinel, and then when played, you may heal all damage from a unit that costs 2 or less, and give 2 shield tokens to it. I mean, Guardian of the Wills is going to stay around for a while if you give 2 shield tokens to this silly thing. But yeah, if you want to go Voltron Grogu, here's your guy. You've got like on the 6 in that deck, you're literally like, all right, I either play the Mandalorian or I play Obi-Wan, and it's like either or. They're protecting the baby.
Yeah.
I can't decide. I mean, they're both good. Obi-Wan and the Mandalorian are both good, but I mean, I feel like this has an edge, but they're both conditional that you need to have units on the field for them to have their effects be, optimized.
Yeah.
But-
The biggest problem with this is like, say you've got this deck that centers around this synergy, and then you play into a villain blue deck that has
Power of the Dark
event
Side,
targeted
Vanquish,
removal.
Like, you can just take down the 2 cost that you're beefing up. So, I mean, like, yes, the 2 shields are great, but there's so many ways around it where, like, how much do I really care about this 2 cost as opposed to how much better would the +2/+2 be when Obi-Wan goes? You know? So,
Yeah,
I like this
Obi-Wan's
card a
effect
lot,
better.
but yeah, I think that the two cost.
You can also give it
I
to
don't know how-
anything. It's the card draw. It's the force unit.
Yeah.
Whereas this, yeah, it's like, all right, I might need to see like another 2-drop that's like good and worth wanting to like shield. Like if Grogu's like my only option in the deck, that feels a little limiting.
If you give me a way to like move shields around or like turn shields into something, then we can also talk.
Yeah.
But the shields feel like so not impactful in this situation either, because the chances are that, I mean, other than Grogu, the 2/2s, I mean, the 2 costs have kind of garbage stat lines, right? So like you're at risk for a lot of stuff, a lot of potential knockback here. So
Yeah, it would.
I think Obi-Wan's better.
It would. Yeah,
the
I mean,
moment.
I agree. Obi-Wan's better, but Mandalorian could if there's like easier, consistent ways, especially maybe with the bounty of like upgrading the 2 cost units. You know, like especially Grogu, like we're talking about, like if he has a lightsaber on him, and then next turn, like if at 5 resources, you spend 2 for Grogu and 2 for like a lightsaber, and then next turn you like give him 2 shields, and he's a 3/8 double shielded. You know, there's like play lines like that are probably pretty good, and also takes him out of the takedown range. But
Now, I thought about this though, is that what's one of the most expensive legendaries right now? That's 3 cost.
Boba?
Yeah, I mean, we could see a 2 cost legendary in this set that's like bonkers crazy.
yeah, I thought you were
ridiculous.
going somewhere with like synergy with Boba. I was like, wait.
Oh
what
no,
are you-
no! I'm sorry. No. I'm just saying.
Mandalorian.
I'm just saying there could be another card here that I mean I have to wait and see. But currently, I think Obi-Wan takes the edge for me, personally. I mean, Force Trade is just so good. The 2/2 is so good.
Yeah, we'll need to see more synergy with Mandalorian and Bounty Hunter and see if there's anything there with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
And like you said, there could be better 2-drop.
Right. What did they get anything from Destiny when they had like the remove the shields to do damage kind of thing? So it could be good synergy to give shields and then do an event, whatever that.
What was
takes the
that
shields
card?
off, does damage.
Riposte.
Yeah,
Cost, yeah.
something like that. Like that. Some of that would be interesting.
Yeah, they would need to change the like Destiny was like 1-for-1 because shields were much more prevalent, like easier
Yeah.
to get. Whereas this, like, even if the event was 0 cost, I would never want to remove a shield to deal 1 damage. It would have to be like 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean this is a card that blue just loves their 6 cost sentinels, man. Obi-Wan, the Walker, Bendu.
The Bendu.
And who?
I think that's all of them. But now Mandalorian. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll need to see the condition of like 2 costs. I don't know. If there's any that I really care about. So yeah. All right. I mean that's all the official spoilers. Now we're just gonna go through quickly talk about. We got a lot of artwork from the stream, and then also the. They put a YouTube like teaser trailer up that's like a minute long. So if you haven't checked that out, and then also like I said, the live stream of the event, and we're getting a stream every single Wednesday this month, talking about SWU. So we're gonna be getting a lot of information coming up about Shadows of the Galaxy. So actually, before we get in the artwork, or just the artwork, we got new experience and shield tokens. Both these look really cool. I like these both better than set ones. Tyler was saying experience. What better way than to get into combat and get experience? So that's why Mandalorian's holding the Beskar spear right there. And then also, I don't know what clan that is, but they got that little shield. It's the blue one.
Clan Kreese?
Is that Kreese? Yeah.
Yeah. Because Ra was red, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are like the only 2 clans. There's more clans, but right? I don't know.
Yes.
I was like, I don't know that much about Mandalorian lore outside the basics. But both these look cool. I'll say, I like these both better than set 1s. So I'm really excited for set 3s though, the Clone Wars. But also these are irrelevant because I don't use any of them. Like, it's nice that they look cool.
You're gonna get a bunch of hyperspaces of them.
Yeah. Cool. Moving on. First one we got Lando. This looks amazing. I also love that we didn't get just the art. We just had to screen grab it from the stream, so we get to see Jeremy, Tyler, Xander, and Danny on the the bottom corner of it.
Yeah, Xander's just.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I like this art. Xander approves of this art. He's a big fan. This is sick. I hope we get Lando. Like, even in Destiny, man, like, I feel like we still haven't gotten, like, a good Lando. And the one in Swoosh so far is, like, super niche. Like, a 6'5" Saboteur is, like, fine. But I want, like, I want a Lando, man. Give me a Lando.
Lando Calrissian, Colt 45.
And, hey, maybe we get him as a leader. We don't know what any of these things are.
I hope we do.
Yeah.
We do.
Cool.
It'd be kind of weird to get young Lando as a leader.
It is, I could see it.
Is Jack frozen?
Yeah, I'm frozen.
Oh God, it's not a good look for you either.
It's not. Just not. Why did it change?
Got that lead paint there.
I think I could can I just swap to the Brio? Does it let me? Look at that. Well, we'll just continue on anyways. Next one, Brian, you figured out who this was. I forget the name.
Yeah, who's the next guy?
Yeah, he's the gunslinger from The Mandalorian Season 1. His name's Toru Calican. And he is looking at a hawk of Fennec Shand, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like this is just going to be the alt art for Wanted.
Yeah. It's cool though. I vaguely remember this episode.
I remember everything.
He's just a punk. He's just a punk.
He's just trying to make a name for himself.
Just a simple man trying to make his way through the galaxy.
Nice leather jacket.
I hope we see Fennec.
We already have a nice alt art of this in Discord.
Oh, Flock's face over it.
A Flock's face.
I should have put that up.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Seems cool. Obviously, I have no idea. Event, upgrade, unit, leader, no idea. I hope he wouldn't be a leader. I would say that.
No,
Yeah,
I'm calling Wanted alt art.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have people with sticks.
We have Mulan card.
we have Mulan at home.
Yeah.
People with sticks.
Well,
so this is clearly from the episode in which he's training the villagers to fight the pirates that are raiding them with the ATST.
No. This is just people with sticks.
Yeah, these are just random people with sticks. Never have appeared.
Just random people with sticks.
That's actually the event card too. It's an event card.
People with sticks. I am predicting this is like give experience tokens to a bunch of low-cost stuff, or it's just a unit of people with sticks.
This is academy training.
Feisty villagers.
Feisty villagers. Hey, look, none of the devs or Xander look very excited. So, I mean, we expect.
No, I mean, Jeremy's face is the same in the first 3, like the exact same, and he hasn't moved
in everyone.
In the first, at least the first 3. I haven't looked at the rest yet.
That's so good.
Look, when you're the GOAT, it's a lot to move. So
you don't have
why
to.
bother?
Yeah.
Doesn't run unless something's chasing him.
Next up, we have Spot from Target with a gun. We
got Balatik's friend.
The Guavian enforcers.
Yeah, Guavian.
Yeah.
Cool. Hope we see Balatik. That'd be really cool to see him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He'll be a leader.
Yeah, he'll be the most
and
broken
super
leader, just like Destiny. Destiny days. Then after that, this one is sick. This might be no, the Lando I would say is my favorite. This is my close second favorite artwork that we saw, but the armor looks sick.
Have you removed your helmet?
This would be cool, Matt.
This is the.
You are a Mandalorian no more.
When are you gonna become a voice actor, Brian? That's what we're all waiting.
You really should be. Dude.
I'd love to. That'd be great. That'd be my dream.
You gotta start making TikToks.
when they reprise what's his name? Watto. You're a shoe-in, dude. When they do
Yes,
a
you got it.
flashback in any series,
Annie, little Annie.
that's funny. Dude, that might be the first time you've done it since Swoo. You used to do it all
yeah.
the time in Destiny.
Since Destiny, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He doesn't want to be known as he doesn't want to like, have, when he doesn't want people to think when they think Brian, slave trader.
Fair.
I mean,
Fair.
yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah, it's not a good
It's
comparison.
not a good look.
Uh,
I'll be the armorer. That's fine. That's the new shtick I'll do. That's okay.
Yeah. Pesky Paul. Moadib.
Moadib, the Lisana Gaib.
Speaking of that, we have Cad Bane artwork.
Yes.
Speaking
Sequitur.
of that,
Looks cool. Love to see Cad Bane. In a moment, you'll see that there's 2 different artworks of him. That's looking like
name is
so.
add Moadib Bane.
So I feel like we're at least going to get him as a unit. The question will be if one of these artworks is an event or a leader. In my opinion, I hope he's a leader. Cad Bane would be an awesome leader to have.
Yeah, I can see like Cad Bane being like a leader that's like when deployed you get ambushed or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's what he
Yeah,
was kind of
so-
like with Destiny a little bit too, right? You could like
Yeah.
stack the actions of
Control.
ambush, play an upgrade on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool. Next we got Emphas Nest. Looks really cool on the train in Solo. I'm curious how they would apply her to Swoo, if she would be a leader or like if she was a leader, what she would be, because her ability, she was a neutral character, right, for Destiny that you could bring 2 hero and 2 villain cards to your deck. So I'm curious if there's like a way that she could be like.
Well, same thing with the armorer, right? She's not really like for or against.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you could
but
you
I
could
just,
you
like,
could classify Emphas Nest as a hero.
what?
Technically, she's
Yeah.
a rebel, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like armorer in the same way.
Well,
So-
less so of the aspects that they have, but more so like what their ability. Like, I wonder if she could
Oh,
be
okay.
like you can bring 2 villain cards or like. But the thing is that in Unlimited you could play any card in your deck anyways.
Right.
But I wonder if there's like she could have her
Ignore
own
the
epic
aspect
action
penalty.
on her leader side where she's like play a card and you don't put its aspect penalty on. So it'd be like just
Play
one
a
time
card
a
for
game.
2 less.
two last epic action.
She's
2
the
lesser.
anti-aspect penalty.
Yeah, or could you, something like that. Something along those lines I feel like would be interesting where you could bring one card or whatever and don't have to pay the penalty for it. Whether that's an epic action or the deck building limitation is like you can bring 1 card and you don't have to pay the penalty on it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it'd be like an epic action because then like you don't have to bring 1 of that card to your deck.
What do you mean? I mean,
And
yeah,
then,
then
and that's 1 of 50 that you're gonna have to pull for the epic action. So if it's gonna be anything, it's gonna be you bring like a set of a card and you can epic action use that card. as
you
many
can bring
cards.
up to 3 of 1 out of aspect
Yeah.
card that you don't have to pay for or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
This next one's my favorite.
Yeah, next one is the Falcon running away from Fett's fire spray. Slave
Oh.
one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did I
Is
miss
that cut off
one?
a little bit in the one that I sent?
It's
Must
not there
be.
at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
then I didn't.
You suck.
That one's
Um,
cool, but I was talking about the other one that's after that.
Well, this one seems cool, but this screams like event all over for me with the Falcon running from the fire spray. It looks
Yeah.
really cool. On the next one is the IG-11, right, in Mando?
Yeah, I like that he's holding his gun.
He's like, yeah, he's
Like,
pushing it
They're
down.
they're holding hands almost, you know? They're cute bros.
Mom and dad they're seeing their child for the first time.
And then mom
Ooba.
mom tries to kill him.
Ooba.
Yeah, target a car. Yeah, seems really cool. This screams like event to me a little bit more, but I hope we do see IG-11. I think that'd be really cool in the game as well. I don't think he'd be a leader. He seems like he'd be a unit.
Yeah, I doubt he would be a leader.
And then this should be the last one, and this is kind of like the splash art we got for the banner, which has Maul, Dr. Aphra, and a different art of Cad Bane on it. I'm hoping that all 3 of these are leaders.
Let's hope.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
I think all of these would be awesome
I
leaders
think
and perfect.
It's funny. I think me, Flock, and Jack want separately different
Yes.
of these characters to be leaders for different reasons.
Yeah. Towards the end of Destiny, my favorite deck was Aphra by a good margin.
I brought Maul to Worlds.
And then you played Maul, and Flock played Cad Bane with Talzin a lot.
No, it was Cat Bane with Snoke was my big thing.
And well, eventually, when you realized, because at first you're like, I don't want to use Snoke, he's good. Let me play Talzin. You know how you work. Don't deny that. Don't deny that.
Talzin's like one of my
also
favorite
good,
characters
though.
from Destiny. I love Talzin.
This is also
Yeah, she was good. She was just really expensive, especially with Cad Bane, who had paid sides.
Yeah.
Because you were running the 1 and 3 cost stuff,
Yeah.
at least. But yeah, all this seems awesome. Really, really excited for the set to come out. Shadow of the Galaxy is looking like a lot of fun. We only got 9 cards and some artwork to talk about. And like I said, I don't think we should be making another one of these for about a month or so, but we're obviously excited because we're just past the hour mark now. So any other closing thoughts?
Nope.
Not
Cool.
a one.
All right, excited to get these cards on the table. For us personally, don't know when and if we're allowed, or even if we're going to want to do like print and play, even if it's just printing out the leaders and trying them. But so I don't know where that. Already gotten some questions about that stuff, but yeah, we'll kind of play it by ear, figure it out. And it's also we make the content we want to make. So if we feel like playing them, we'll do that. If we don't feel like playing them, we probably won't. So that is how the cookie crumbles. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will catch you next time.